Today I'm going to read you the story of Harper, which is titled like this. I texted the family group chat. My promotion party is this Saturday, hope you'll come. My sister replied, we're busy, don't wait. Mom added, you only think about yourself. I posted photos from the party when they saw this. Well, let's go. I'm Harper, 29, and I need to tell you about my family. Actually, let me be more specific. I need to tell you about how I realized I don't really have one. So here's the deal. I work as a financial analyst at this big financial company downtown. Pretty good gig, decent money, and I actually love what I do. But 3 years ago, I was stuck at this mid-level position at a bank, going nowhere fast. Then this opportunity came up at my current company, and boom, I made the jump. Best decision I ever made, honestly. My family though? They're a different story. There's my parents, who are in their late 50s, and my older sister Emma. She's 32, married to this guy Dave, and they have an 8-year-old kid named Tyler. They live about 20 minutes from my parents, and they're always over there. Me? I live across town and barely see them maybe once every few months. Here's the thing that really gets me, they never seem interested in what's going on with me. When I do show up to family stuff, it's like I'm this background character in their little drama. They'll spend hours talking about Emma's latest thing, or Tyler's school, or Dave's job at the auto shop. But ask them what I do for work. Half the time they can't even remember. They still think I work at the bank and rent an apartment. I remember when I was a kid, Emma was always the golden child. When she got her driver's license, my parents threw this big celebration. When I got mine 2 years later, they forgot until I reminded them the next day. Emma got pregnant with Tyler when she was 23, and suddenly she was this amazing daughter who was giving them their first grandchild. I graduated college with honors that same year, and they showed up late to the ceremony because they were helping Emma set up the nursery. The worst part is how they act like this is totally normal. Like of course Emma's the center of attention, of course her problems are the most important, of course her achievements matter more. And I just went along with it for years. I kept thinking maybe if I tried harder, maybe if I accomplished more, maybe they'd notice me. 3 years ago, I thought I had my chance. I was so excited about this new job, it was a huge step up, better pay, better opportunities, working for this respected financial company instead of just another bank. I wanted to share the news with them properly, you know? Make it special. So I went to the bakery and got this beautiful chocolate cake, picked up a nice bottle of wine, and drove over to my parents' house on a Saturday. When I got there, Emma and Dave were already at the kitchen table with Tyler. Perfect, I thought. The whole family's here. I put the wine and cake on the counter, and my mom looked at me confused. Why did you bring cake, honey? She asked. I sat down at the table, took a deep breath, and said, well, I wanted to celebrate something with you guys. I have some really good news about work, and I thought. Oh my God, you guys. Emma cut me off, practically bouncing in her chair. Dave and I have been dying to tell you our news. And just like that, the attention shifted. Emma started going on about how she and Dave had decided to open their own business, a car wash, of all things. She was talking about location scouting and business loans and how exciting it was going to be. Then she pointed to my cake and wine and said, this is perfect timing. We can use these to celebrate our big announcement. Dave started explaining their business plan, Tyler was asking if he could help wash cars, and my parents were asking a million questions. They opened my wine. They cut my cake. And I just sat there, watching them celebrate Emma's dream with the supplies I'd brought to celebrate my own achievement. I stayed for about an hour, listening to them plan out Emma's future success. Nobody asked me why I'd brought the cake and wine in the first place. Nobody seemed to remember that I'd said I had news to share. I was just there. Finally, I quietly excused myself, said I had to go, and left. They barely looked up when I said goodbye. That night, sitting in my apartment, I made a decision. I wasn't going to do this anymore. I wasn't going to keep trying to get their attention, keep hoping they'd care about my life. If they weren't interested, fine. I'd stop trying to make them interested. 6 months ago, I bought my first apartment. Got a mortgage, went through the whole process, had a little housewarming party with my friends and coworkers. It was amazing. And I didn't tell my family a single thing about it. Last month, I took a vacation to the Maldives. Best trip of my life. Crystal clear water, perfect weather, amazing food. I had the time of my life. Didn't post a single photo on social media, didn't mention it to anyone in my family. Because here's what I learned: when you stop expecting people to care, you stop getting disappointed when they don't. But yesterday, something happened that's going to change everything. I got promoted. Not just any promotion, I'm now the head of one of our financial analysis departments. At 29, I'm the youngest department head in the company's history. My boss, the financial director who recruited me from the bank 3 years ago, called me into his office and told me I'd earned it. I'm finally where I've been working toward for years. And for the first time since that day with the cake and wine, I want to celebrate with my family. So I decided to throw a party. A real party, not just drinks with coworkers. And yeah, I'm inviting my family too. I sent a text to our group chat yesterday: "Hey everyone, I'm having a promotion party at my place next Saturday at 7. Hope to see you there." Emma replied first: "Sorry Harper, but Dave and I already have plans that Saturday. We're taking Tyler on a camping trip, maybe next time." Camping trip, right? Emma hates camping. She complains if the air conditioning in a restaurant is too cold, but suddenly she's ready to rough it in the wilderness? But whatever, I told myself. Maybe my parents would come. They're retired, they don't have weekend plans that often. Then my mom chimed in about 20 minutes later. "Harper, I already told my book club ladies they could come over Saturday for our monthly meeting. I've been planning this for weeks. You really should have given us more notice. You always spring things on us at the last minute." I stared at that message for a solid 5 minutes. More notice? I gave them almost 2 weeks. And since when do I always spring things on them? I barely tell them anything anymore. But the real kicker came next. "Your father and I won't be able to make it either. You know how important my book club is to me, and you're being very inconsiderate with your timing. You only think about yourself, Harper." Only think about myself. That line hit me like a punch to the gut. Here I am, finally achieving something major, wanting to share it with my family, and somehow I'm the selfish one for inviting them to celebrate. I sat there looking at those messages, and you know what I felt? Not sadness. Not disappointment. Just this weird sense of clarity. Like suddenly everything made perfect sense. I typed back, "No problem at all, I completely understand. Have fun with your plans." And that was it. I didn't argue, didn't try to convince them, didn't point out that this was a big deal for me. Because what would be the point? They'd already shown me exactly how they felt about my success. The funny part is, I didn't even get a chance to tell them my new address. I was going to send it after they confirmed they were coming. But since they're not coming, they don't need to know where I live, do they? So I threw myself into party planning instead. I called this amazing restaurant downtown and ordered a full spread, fancy appetizers, main courses, desserts, the works. Scheduled the cleaning service to come Friday night so everything would be perfect. Bought good wine, beer, whatever people wanted. My friend Jessica is bringing her camera to take pictures. My coworker Mike offered to help set up. Even my boss seemed genuinely excited about coming, which honestly means more to me than any family approval ever could. The week flew by, and honestly, I barely thought about my family's rejection. I was too busy getting ready and too excited about celebrating with people who actually matter. Saturday came and I spent the whole day getting ready. Got my hair done, picked out this great dress, set up the apartment so everything looked perfect. The food arrived right on time, the place looked amazing, and I felt good. Really good. At 7 sharp, people started showing up. Jessica came first with this beautiful bouquet of flowers. Then Mike and his girlfriend, then more coworkers, then some of my college friends who still live in the city. By 8 o'clock, my apartment was full of laughter and conversation and genuine celebration. And you know what the best part was? Nobody asked where my family was. These people know me well enough to understand that if they're not there, there's probably a good reason. Around 9, my boss stood up with his wine glass and called for everyone's attention. "I want to make a toast," he said, and the whole room went quiet. "Harper," he started, looking right at me, "you have completely earned this promotion. In the 3 years since I recruited you from that bank, you've exceeded every expectation I had. You're dedicated, you're brilliant, and you have this incredible ability to see solutions where other people only see problems." I could feel myself getting emotional. Nobody in my family has ever talked about me like that. What makes this even more special, he continued, is that Harper is now the youngest department head in our company's history. At 29, she's achieved something that most people don't reach until their 40s or 50s. I couldn't be more proud to have her on our team. The whole room erupted in cheers and applause. I actually had to wipe away tears, happy tears, for once. But he wasn't done. With this promotion comes a significant salary increase, and honestly, Harper deserves every penny. I have no doubt that the next time we're celebrating her success, it'll be in some luxury house she's bought with all that new money. Everyone laughed and cheered again. Jessica was recording the whole thing on her phone, capturing this moment that I never want to forget. After that, other people made toasts. My friend Sarah talked about how proud she was to know me. Mike made some joke about how I was going to be everyone's boss someday. It was perfect, absolutely perfect. The party went until almost midnight. People were having such a good time that nobody wanted to leave. We were all just talking and laughing and enjoying each other's company. For the first time in forever, I felt truly celebrated, truly seen. The next morning, I woke up feeling amazing. I made coffee, started cleaning up, and for the first time in months, I actually felt like posting something on social media. Why not share this happiness with the world? I posted some of the pictures Jessica took, including that video of my boss's speech. I wrote, "Grateful for everyone who came out to celebrate my promotion to department head. Couldn't ask for better friends and colleagues. Officially the youngest department head in company history, still can't believe it." Then I put my phone away and spent the next couple hours cleaning up from the party. Just me, some music, and the satisfaction of a celebration well done. When I finally checked my phone again around noon, I had 37 missed calls. Mom, Dad, Emma, Dave, Mom again, Emma again, over and over. The call started around 10 a.m. and didn't stop until I picked up my phone at noon. I didn't call them back, instead, I opened our family group chat, and holy shit, the messages waiting for me there. "Mom, Harper honey, I just saw your post. I had no idea you worked for Morrison Financial. That's such a prestigious company. Dad, so proud of you sweetheart. Department head at your age is incredible. Emma, OMG Harper, why didn't you tell us you bought an apartment? It looks amazing in the video. Dave, congrats on the promotion, you're killing it. Emma again, seriously though, when did you move? Your place looks so nice. Mom, we should have been there to celebrate with you. I feel terrible that we missed such an important night." I actually laughed out loud reading these. Like, literally laughed. Where was all this enthusiasm last week when I invited them? Where was this interest for the past 3 years? But they weren't done, the messages kept coming even while I was reading. Emma, Harper, you have to tell us everything. I can't believe you've been keeping all this from us. Mom, your boss seems so nice. And what he said about your salary increase, you must be doing so well for yourself. Dad, we need to get together soon so you can tell us all about your success. It was like watching people I'd never met before pretend to be my family. These warm, interested, proud people, where the hell had they been my entire life? I closed the group chat without responding and went about my Sunday. Did laundry, grocery shopped, meal prepped for the week. Normal stuff. Adult stuff. Stuff I do on my own because I'm a grown woman who doesn't need family approval to function. But they didn't give up. Throughout the week, the calls kept coming. Voice messages too. Harper, it's Mom, please call me back. I want to hear all about your job and your beautiful apartment. Hey sis, it's Emma, I feel so bad that we didn't know about your promotion. Call me back, I want to take you shopping to celebrate. Harper, this is Dad, your mother, and I are so proud of you. We had no idea you were doing so well. Please call us back. I listened to them all but didn't respond. Jessica was right, now that they knew I had money and status, suddenly I was interesting to them. Suddenly I mattered. The texts kept coming too. Mom asking for my address so they could come visit. Emma wanting to know when I'd bought the apartment and how I could afford it. Dad sending links to articles about my company like he'd always followed financial news. It was pathetic, honestly, and kind of insulting. Did they really think I was going to fall for this sudden interest? Did they think I wouldn't notice that their affection was directly tied to my paycheck? By Friday, I guess they were getting desperate because Mom sent this long text. Harper, I don't understand why you're not responding to us. We're your family and we love you. We want to be part of your success and celebrate with you, please don't shut us out. I almost replied to that one. Almost pointed out that they'd had plenty of chances to be part of my life and celebrate with me, and they'd chosen not to. But I caught myself. What would be the point? Saturday morning, I was at home in my pajamas, drinking coffee and reading, when my doorbell rang. I figured it was a package. I'd ordered some new work clothes online to celebrate my promotion. I opened the door and there they were. All of them. Mom, Dad, Emma, Dave, even Tyler. Standing in my hallway with a grocery bag and fake smiles. Surprise, Mom said, like this was some kind of wonderful family reunion. They pushed past me into my apartment before I could even react. Emma immediately started looking around, taking everything in like she was appraising the place. Wow, Harper, she said, but not in a nice way. More like she couldn't believe I could afford something like this. How much did this place cost you? I ignored her and looked at my mom. What are you doing here? We brought cake and wine, Mom said, pulling items out of the grocery bag like this was perfectly normal. We wanted to celebrate your promotion properly. My promotion was last Saturday, I said, you all refused to come. Mom's smile faltered for just a second. Well, yes, but we didn't realize how big of a deal it was. You should have told us more about your job. I tried to tell you about my job 3 years ago. You weren't interested then. Emma was still wandering around my apartment, opening cabinets in my kitchen like she lived there. God, Harper, this place must have cost a fortune. I had no idea you were making so much money. And there it was, the real reason they were here. Actually, I said, you don't know anything about my life. You don't know what I make, you don't know when I moved, you don't even know what company I work for. The only reason you're here is because you saw that video of my boss talking about my salary. Dad tried to jump in. Now Harper, that's not fair. We're here because we're proud of you. Proud of me? I laughed. Where was this pride last week? Where was it 3 years ago when I got this job? Where was it 6 months ago when I bought this place? You never told us you bought a place, Emma said, like that was my fault. I never told you because you never cared enough to ask. The room went quiet. Tyler was sitting on my couch looking uncomfortable, probably wondering why all the adults were being weird. Mom cleared her throat. Harper, I think you're being unfair. We've always cared about you. No, I said, you've always cared about Emma. Remember 3 years ago when I came over with cake and wine to tell you about my new job? Emma interrupted me to talk about her car wash, and you all spent the evening celebrating her with my cake and my wine while I sat there invisible. Emma's face went red, she remembered. That's not how it happened, she said, but her voice was weak. That's exactly how it happened, and it's been happening my whole life. Emma's engagement, Emma's wedding, Emma's pregnancy, Emma's house, Emma's business. Everything has always been about Emma. I was just the backup daughter who showed up when you needed an audience. Mom looked genuinely shocked. Harper, you're our daughter too. We love you. Do you? I asked, because loving someone means being interested in their life. It means showing up when they ask you to. It means caring about their achievements even when there's no money involved. I walked to my door and opened it. I think you should leave now. Mom started crying as she packed up her cake and wine. Harper, you're tearing this family apart, she said. We're trying to reach out to you and you're being so cruel. Emma was the worst though. As she walked past me toward the door, she stopped and looked me right in the eye. You know what your problem is, Harper? You've always been jealous of me. Mom and Dad have always loved me more, and you can't stand it. Now you have some money and you think you're better than us. I just smiled at her. Emma, I'm not jealous of you. I feel sorry for you. You're 32 years old and you still need mommy and daddy's approval to feel good about yourself. I don't need that anymore. Dad was the last one out. He paused at my door and said, Harper, you're making a mistake. Family is important. You're right, I said, family is important. That's why I'm done pretending we're one. I closed the door and locked it. Then I leaned against it and felt this incredible weight lift off my shoulders. For the first time in my life, I'd said exactly what I needed to say to them. The next few months were amazing, honestly. I threw myself into my new role at work, and it turns out I'm really good at being a boss. My team respects me, my projects are successful, and I even got mentioned in the company newsletter as rising star to watch. I went on dates without feeling like I had to hide them from anyone. I bought expensive things without feeling guilty. I traveled whenever I wanted. I lived my life exactly how I wanted to live it. My family tried reaching out a few times. Emma posted some passive-aggressive stuff on Facebook about how sad it is when family members turn their backs on the people who love them. I didn't engage. Mom sent a few texts asking me to come home for dinner and work things out. I deleted them without responding. But then, about 4 months after that confrontation, Mom started calling me repeatedly one Tuesday afternoon. Like, 5 calls in a row. I finally picked up because I was curious. Harper, she said, and I could hear the desperation in her voice. Thank God you answered. I need to talk to you about Emma. What about Emma? She's in trouble, honey, big trouble. The car wash business is failing and they owe the bank a lot of money. They might lose everything. I waited for her to get to the point. Harper, I know you make good money now, and Emma needs help. Could you possibly lend her some money to save the business? And there it was, the real reason for the call. No, I said simply. Harper, please, she's your sister. This is what family does for each other. Mom, you're right, this is what family does. But you made it very clear that I'm not really part of this family. Emma made it clear too. So no, I'm not giving her any money. But Harper, if you don't help her, she could lose her house. She has a child to think about. That's not my problem. Emma chose to start a business. Emma chose to take out loans. Emma chose to risk her family's financial security. Those were her choices, not mine. Mom started crying. Harper, how can you be so heartless? This is your nephew we're talking about. Tyler is not my responsibility, he's Emma's, and Dave's. And apparently yours, since you care so much about their situation. I hung up. An hour later, I got a text from Emma herself. Harper, you are a terrible person. You've always been jealous because Mom and Dad loved me more than you. Now you have money and you won't even help your own family. I hope you're happy being alone. I read it, laughed, and deleted it. She was still trying to make this about jealousy. Still didn't get it. 3 months later, I found out through mutual acquaintances that Emma and Dave lost the car wash business completely. They had to sell their house to pay off the debts to the bank. Now they're living with my parents, all 4 of them crammed into my childhood home. Apparently Mom tells anyone who'll listen that it's all my fault. That I'm cruel and selfish and abandoned my family when they needed me most. She actually told our neighbor Mrs. Peterson that I forgot where I came from and that money changed me into a horrible person. But here's the thing, I don't care. I genuinely don't care what they think of me anymore. I'm 31 now. I got another promotion 6 months ago. I'm now a senior director, which means I'm basically 2 levels below the executive team. I bought a house last month. Not an apartment, an actual house with a yard and everything. I'm dating this great guy from work who treats me like I matter. I have friends who celebrate my successes and support me when things get tough. Sometimes I think about that day 3 years ago when I brought cake and wine to share my good news, and they used my celebration supplies to celebrate Emma instead. It was actually the best thing that could have happened to me, because it showed me exactly who they were. They're not bad people, exactly. They're just people who only care about others when it benefits them. They love Emma because she makes them feel needed and important. They wanted me back when they thought I could solve their financial problems. But I've learned something important: you can't make people love you the way you want to be loved. You can't force them to see your value. You can't make them prioritize you when they've decided you don't matter. What you can do is find people who already see your worth. Who celebrate your wins because they genuinely care about your happiness. Who show up when you need them and don't expect anything in return. I have those people now. And honestly, I've never been happier. My family can keep their drama and their guilt trips and their conditional love. I'll keep my peace, my success, and my chosen family of people who actually give a damn.